into the morning, that is for sure. Let's now get a little bit more insight now into this stunning upset for Democrats that has put Donald Trump in the White House.
We're joined by Jeanne Zaino, professor of political science at Iona College. Not only did Donald Trump win, but he won with a mandate, and Republicans taking the House and the Senate as well here.
Absolutely. A stunning night. I don't think any of us predicted this could happen. And as you mentioned, there was a chance the Democrats could take the Senate and Chuck Schumer could become the first New Yorker to be majority leader. And yet that didn't happen. The Republicans managed to hold the Senate. They held the House. And now, of course, they have the White House back. So a big moment for Republicans.
So I think the big thing that everyone is waking to this morning, not only the revelation that Donald Trump is the 45th president of the United States, but the pundits, the polls were so wrong about everything from the Senate races right down to the presidential election. We saw Tony Aiello's piece earlier where you saw she had a 71% chance. Hillary Clinton did, heading into last night's election. So why are the numbers so off?
I think this is the question we're going to be asking ourselves, particularly people in my profession, for a long time to come. There's a few explanations floating around out there. One is that some Trump supporters were reluctant to tell pollsters that they supported Donald Trump. If you were a woman and you supported Donald Trump, you may feel it might be, anti-feminist to say you were going to vote for him. So there's that sense out there. And another thing is that pollsters may have underestimated who is actually going to go out to the polls. We have a tendency to say, if you didn't vote last time, we're not going to count you this time. And that may have been a mistake because Donald Trump may have gotten more people out to the polls who wouldn't vote in 2012.
Well, Donald Trump, a New Yorker, Queens born, and we're looking at the stage. Rudy Giuliani on stage with him, New Jersey Governor Chris Christie on the stage with him. Where do you see the two of them in his administration?
It's fascinating. It's such warm words, particularly for Mayor Giuliani, who came back on the stage when Donald Trump was speaking. So I think if they want, will both have a place in a Trump administration. I think the question is, what is it they see themselves doing? I think some people have talked about Chris Christie as potentially a chief of staff or something along those lines. We know already he's leading the transition. And Rudy Giuliani, obviously this is somebody who's been a prosecutor, a lawyer, certainly a mayor. So there's an awful lot, if he wants to get back into politics in that way, that he could do in an administration.
I want to get back to those numbers you were talking about a second ago, just because I find this so fascinating. The youth vote. Okay, President Obama 4 years ago, 63%. This time around, Hillary Clinton, 55%. White women, 58% to 39% in favor of Donald Trump with the exit polling yesterday. I mean, the disconnect between Hillary Clinton and these numbers that should have been so much strongly in her camp. What is her camp saying this morning as they now assess these numbers?
I don't think they've had time to really assess them fully, but I do think they have to think long and hard about how they lost women, particularly white women, and the millennial vote. We knew that was a problem for her all along, and it ended up being a big problem for her. And of course, Donald Trump got out his voters, particularly white males and white females, and much larger numbers than all of the people that Hillary Clinton had working for her ever imagined.
And Republicans came to bat as well. 9 out of 10 Republicans voted for him. 9 out of 10 Republicans.
So it was a big night for him. We didn't expect it.
Professor Zaino, good to see you. Thank you so much. We'll be talking much more in the next half hour about a Donald Trump presidency. Thank you.
Incredible.